G20 Summit on the 9th and 10th of September, and the Chinese president is skipping the key meet. On Thursday, Xi Jinping visited the homes of villagers in a rural part of northeast China battered by floods. Even as he skips the world's premier forum for top-level diplomacy in India, Xi will host the leaders of two heavily indebted nations for state visits to China this weekend. Reports suggest he was recently reprimanded by senior Chinese Communist Party leaders. Is Xi Jinping in hot water? In late July through early August, record rainfall laid waste to vast swathes of northern China, flooding cities and farmlands. However, Xi Jinping did not visit any of the disaster-hit areas until this week. Analysts say Xi's speed in visiting disaster-stricken areas in China has usually been much slower than his immediate predecessors, Hu Jintao and Jiang Zemin. Inspecting rice crops and damaged homes battered by the remnants of the super typhoon Doksuri, Xi skipped an Association of Southeast Asian Nations summit in Indonesia this week. He will also miss the chance on Saturday and Sunday to meet with U.S. President Joe Biden at the G20 conclave in New Delhi. China has not explained why Xi, who had attended every G20 summit since coming to office over a decade ago, is not leading Beijing's delegation to New Delhi. It has said only that Premier Li Qiang will represent China. By comparison, Xi left China for 5 overseas visits in 2022, when the country's borders were effectively closed due to a pandemic controls, and a dozen in pre-COVID 2019. Now, speaking to WION, here's what India's Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture said.
I would not delve deep into it because none can have the authority to undermine us. We will be undermining ourselves if we speak that language. But in these forums, it happens that not everybody can be present for various reasons, variety of reasons, and many a times those reasons are internal more than external. So I would give it to Chinese government. It's up to them at what level they want to be part of it. It's not for us to discuss at all.
Now, Chinese aggression has sparked clashes along the mostly rugged mountainous border known as the Line of Actual Control. Amid Xi Jinping's irrational territorial ambitions, India and China have increasingly militarized their border policies and show no indication of backing down. The situation on the border remains tense due to China's violation of norms. Beijing and New Delhi are hardening their positions on either side of the Line of Actual Control. India is firm. Peace and tranquility in the border areas is essential. New Delhi says it is fully prepared and committed to protecting sovereignty and dignity. Now, Germany's India envoy told WION that Xi Jinping's absence would not be an impediment to the success of the G20 summit.
Frankly, I think it is unfortunate that the Chinese president will not attend, but you should see it in a larger context. This is a G20 plus summit. You have 19 plus other countries who will be represented at a very high level. And the Chinese prime minister will come, so he's also a very high level representative of his country. So I would say don't read too much into it. It will be a very important summit. China will make its voice heard at the table. So I would not see it as a failure or something. It's unfortunate, but this summit, it will not be an impediment to the success of the summit.
U.S. President Joe Biden had been hoping to meet his Chinese counterpart at the G20. However, Xi has made it his personal mission to challenge the United States' use of global bodies to criticize China's policies. The United States and China have one of the world's most important and complex bilateral relationships. Since 1949, the countries have experienced periods of both tension and cooperation over issues including trade, climate change, and Taiwan. A Nikkei Asia report suggests that Xi Jinping was recently rebuked by the Communist Party elders at the Beidei meeting. The meeting marks the annual get-together of incumbent and retired leaders of the Chinese Communist Party at the seaside resort of Beidei in Hebei province. Diplomatic and economic turmoil has worried many of the elders who ran the party during China's ascent. Meanwhile, Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro is on a 7-day China trip, and Zambian president will visit from the 10th to the 16th of September. As per reports, the symbolism of Xi's decision to host two world leaders as he snubs the G20 Summit sends a clear message about how he prefers to conduct diplomacy. The Chinese leader is increasingly receiving dignitaries on home soil or turning to groups where Beijing has more clout, such as the newly expanded BRICS.